Hello everyone, boiler up. I still don't know what that means, but this is how we greet other Purdue students. So this is for you all. This video is for all the boiler makers out there and also students from other universities who have earned their income in Indiana and are looking to file the state tax forms. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. The tax deadline is approaching. The last date to file your tax returns is April 15, 2024. So we want to make sure that we fill out all the forms and do all the calculations correctly before sending the documents to the state government. This year, while I started to fill out the forms, I went to the Purdue Vita website to see if they have any videos like last year, but it was such a surprise to note that my video for the last year was published on their website. It was like a dream, and it really feels like a dream come true for me to be featured in the official Purdue University website on the state tax filing page. And I can't express it in words. It's only because of you all. You all supported me a lot and went through my videos, and I was glad that you found it useful. So here I am back with my tax filing videos. I have already made a video on how you can file your federal tax forms using Glacier software. If you don't have access to Glacier software, I have made yet another video where you can fill out your federal tax forms without any software. I want to give out one disclaimer. I'm not a tax professional. I'm just a fellow student like you all who just graduated from Purdue University, and this is how I filled out my state tax form, so you can definitely refer to this. But if your tax situation is more complicated than me, you can consult any tax professional at your university or any paid agent. But I would say that Indiana state tax filing, especially as a F-1 student, is not that difficult considering you only have a few sources of income. So I would highly recommend you to try to fill out the forms by yourself. You can definitely contact the tax professional anytime, but I would suggest you start doing it yourself and see how it goes. If you refer to my last year's Indiana state tax filing video, it's still relevant. There are only a minor changes. I think the Indiana state government has reduced the tax rate from 3.23% to 3.15%, if I'm not wrong. Apart from that, all the deductions that we had in the last year mostly remain the same. Now I will tell you my situation for the tax filing last year so you can see which conditions apply to you or don't apply to you. If you have any additional sources of income apart from this video would help you partially, but I would suggest you consult any tax professional or do your own research, or feel free to reach out to me at my email so we can look into it together. So first, I am a F1 student. I just graduated from Purdue and currently started my OPT. Second is that I am a non-resident alien for tax purposes. Third is that I had three sources of income. First is Form W2, second is Form 1099 DIV, and third is Form 1099 INT. Form W2 states how much income you earned in any given financial year. It might be from any state. So I had my internship in California, so the W2 income will include all the income you earned in every state. But specifically for Indiana state tax, you will be only taxed for the income that you earned in Indiana, and the California income that you earned will be reflected in the California state taxes. So this year's tax filing is a bit of learning experience for me because I had two another sources of income in addition to the Form W2. One is 1099 DIV, which states dividend income, and one is 1099 INT, which states the interest income. I had two doubts this year and I reached out to Purdue Vita. I'm waiting for the response. The first is that I had dividend and interest income and it was taxed flat 30% on my 1040 NR. So I wanted to clear from them if this dividend and interest income would be included in the state tax forms or not. The second doubt is that in one of the forms, if you remember, you have to enter the county number where you lived and worked as of 1st Jan 2023. So personally, I was not in Indiana on 1st Jan 2023. I didn't even work and I had an internship for 8 months. I only returned to Purdue from September until December. So I don't know if I should put the county number as 79 or 00. This will make a difference because if it's 00, I think you will get all the tax return from your county taxes that you paid. So this is an important update. Now I will start sharing my screen and let's get into it. The first step is to download all the forms from the Purdue site. Download all the forms that you see, and the first form that we have to fill is the form IT40 PNR. So this is the form IT40 PNR, similar to the form 1040 NR that we filled for the federal tax. IT40 PNR is the main form for the Indiana state tax filing. Make sure that the tax forms are for the year 2023. First you have to enter the social security number, then enter your first name, initial and the last name. Enter your present address. It doesn't need to be in Indiana. Make sure you enter the same address as you entered in the federal tax forms. This is where the confusing part will come in, because as of Jan 1st 2023 I did not work in Indiana and I didn't stay in Indiana as well. So I will enter 00 and 00 in both the counties. But if you stayed in Indiana as of 1st Jan or you were employed with them, you enter the respective county code. It doesn't matter which county you stayed in on 2nd Jan or say 1st August or 1st December. They only ask for county where you lived and worked as of Jan 1st of the financial year. So we will come back to the IT40 PNR later. First we have to complete the other forms, because as you can see they say that complete schedule A first. So we will go to our next form. This is the form schedule A. Again, make sure it's for the year 2023. Enter your name as shown on the form IT40 PNR and enter your social security number. So after that, let's start filling out the column A. So as you can see, column A is for the income from federal return. So in this case, remove your form 1040 NR and enter all the values as it is according to the lines. So in my 1040 NR, my wages, salaries, tips, commissions all add up to be 41,366. So if you add multiple W2s and earned income in say various states, you add all the income and just add it right here. It's not only for the Indiana income, it's the total income that you earned in the year 2023. So similarly, enter all these lines according to the 1040 NR. I didn't have anything right here, so I will just leave all this portion blank. I had dividend as well as taxable interest income, but if you saw my federal tax filing video, the interest and dividend income that I earned in 2023 were taxed at flat 30% and were not included in the dividend or taxable income in 1040 NR. So I will keep this portion blank because it's not included in my income and it's taxed flat 30% according to the schedule NEC. After filling out all the lines here, you just go to the line 21A and it's basically addition of all these lines. So I didn't have anything right here. So it will be the same as the line 1A for me. Now the second column is column B, which shows income taxed by Indiana. So only enter the amount of income that you earned in Indiana, whether it might be part-time from your university or you were employed in the state of Indiana. Enter all those amounts right here. Most of my income in 2023 was from my internship in California and I only earned $2,444 in Indiana. So I will enter that amount right here. Again, as I didn't have any dividend income or interest income that was shown in 1040 NR, I will keep all these lines blank and move to the line 21B, which again is simply the addition of all these boxes. So it will be the same as line 1B for me. The thing to note is that as you can see, all the values are shown in 0.00. So you have to round it off if you had any decimal digits. If it was less than 50 cents, round it backward. If it's more than 50 cents, you will round it forward. Now let's move to the second page of the schedule A. So 21C can be left blank. 21D is simply dividing 21B by 21A. So this is basically to show how much percentage of income was earned in Indiana compared to the total income that you earned. So I will divide 21B by 21A and enter the value right here. This will be in decimal. So if you earned all your income in Indiana in 2023, this will be 1 for you. But as I said, most of my income was earned in other states, so the value is quite less for me. So make the calculations accordingly. Coming to the section 2, you can go through all these lines, but none of them were applicable for me. So I just left both of them blank. Make sure you read each line and see if any one of it applies to you. Section 3 gives the totals. It says subtract line 35 from line 21. So for 35 I didn't have anything. I will just enter the line 21 from section 1. So which is this amount. I will just enter as it is, and that's it for the schedule A. So before moving to our next form, keep a diary with you or open your notes in your mobile and enter the totals from each of the schedules that we calculate, because these values will be entered in the IT40 PNR and we should keep it handy so that we don't make any error in the tax calculations. So the first thing to add in your notes is schedule A total, which can be seen in the box 36B. Enter schedule A total and enter this value in your notes. The next form is schedule C, which stands for deductions. Again, start by entering your name as the form IT40 PNR. enter your social security number. This form is for the renter's deduction. So in the first box you have to enter your Indiana address where you rented your apartment. So I will enter my address right here. And is landlord's name and address. So it was Launch Apartments. I will enter their name and their address. Here we have to enter the amount of rent that we paid. In 2023, I only stayed at Purdue for the last semester, that was fall 2023, and the total rent that I paid was 1440. So I will enter that right here. And this shows the number of months rented, so it was 4 months for me. This box says enter the lesser of 3000 or amount of rent paid. So if your rent was more than 3000, you can't enter that amount. The maximum that you can enter here is 3000, but for me it was less than 3000, so I will enter 1440 in this box. The second is for homeowners residential property tax. So this is only for homeowners, so you can leave this portion blank. Read all these lines, but none of them again were applicable to me, so I left it blank and I directly came to the line 12, which says add lines 1 through 11. So I didn't have anything, so it will be the same as this and the total will be 1440. Now take out your notes and write schedule C total and write this amount right here. The next form is schedule D, which is for exemptions. Again, enter your name here, your social security number. First line says enter 2000 if you are married filing jointly, otherwise enter $1000. So I entered 1000 right here. Enter the number of dependents. If you didn't have any, you just keep this portion blank. This portion is again for dependents, so you can skip this. This is for 65 or older, so you can leave it blank. This is again for 65 or older, so you can just skip to the line 7, which says add lines 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's 1000 for me. The line 8 says that enter the number from schedule A. If you remember, we divided line 21B by 21A. So if you had all your income in Indiana, this will be 1. So simply take this value from the schedule A, line 21D. Line 9 says multiply line 7 by line 8. So you have to simply multiply this by this, which comes out to be 59 for me. So I will enter 59. And again, take out your notes, write schedule D total and enter this amount right here. The next form is schedule IN-DEP. So this form is only applicable if you had any dependents. If you didn't have any, you can simply delete this form because we won't need to send this form to the Indiana state tax, so you can simply delete it. The next form is schedule F, which stands for credits. This is again an important form because this will dictate how much refund you are getting or how much money you are owing to the government. Again, start by entering your name, your social security number. So first line says Indiana state tax withheld, so you can go to your form W2, see how much state tax was deducted from your pay and you can enter the amount right here. The second line is Indiana county tax withheld. Again, you can find this from your form W2. You can simply enter the amount right here. Nothing from 3 to line 12 was applicable for me, so I just left it blank. The line 13 says add lines 1 through 12, so I will just add 77 and 31, which comes out to be 108 for me. This shows the total credits that you have. Again, take out your notes, write schedule F total and enter this amount right here. If you didn't make any donations, you can just leave this portion blank. The next form in our tax filing is schedule H, which is for residency information. Again, start by entering your name and social security number. This is just an example on how you have to fill the residency information. So for me, I was in California from 6th of Jan to 31st July. I will enter that right here and click on yes because I will be filing a tax return with the state, and I came back to Indiana on 1st September 2023 and left Indiana on 27 December. So I will enter those dates and again take yes because I am filing a tax return with the state of Indiana. The section 2 can be left blank. You can directly come to the line 6, which asks you for your phone number and your email address. This portion is only applicable if you want to discuss your return with any other representative or if you had any paid preparer, so you can simply leave it blank. And that's it for your schedule H. So after filling out a lot of forms, we are back to our main form, that is IT40 PNR. The first line is simply the schedule A total that we took out in our notes, so enter that value right here. The second line can be left blank because we didn't have any schedule B. The line 3 is simply the addition of 1 and 2, so it will simply be line 1. Line 4 asks you for your schedule C total, so enter that amount right here. The fifth is just subtracting line 4 from line 3. So subtract this value from this value, which comes out to be $1,004 for me. The sixth line asks you for your schedule D total, so enter that right here. And the seventh line is simply subtracting line 6 from line 5, which is line 6 from line 5, which comes out to be $945 for me. If this value comes out to be negative for you, you will just enter it as 0 and skip this lines right here, because you won't have any Indiana or county state tax. But if you have any positive amount in the Indiana adjusted gross income, you have to calculate these taxes. So coming to the line 8, it simply says that multiply line 7 by 0.0315, which is the Indiana state tax. So I will multiply 945 by this value, which comes out to be $30 for me. For the county tax, we have to go to schedule CT40 PNR. This is the schedule CT40 PNR, which is for the county tax. Again, enter your name and social security number. The first line says enter the amount from IT40 PNR line 7, so you can enter that amount right here. Enter the county tax rate from the chart on the back of this schedule. So if you go to the last page of this schedule, you will see all the tax rates based on the county. So if you were based in the Tippecanoe County, you will enter this amount right here. But I was not in Indiana, so for 00 I will just keep it blank. That's why I don't have any county tax to be paid. But if you had any, enter that amount right here. And the third line is simply multiplying line 1 by the rate on line 2, which is this by this. So you will have some amount right here, but for me it's 0. So now coming back to our form IT40 PNR, the value that you calculated from the CT40 PNR can be added right here. I didn't have any, so I just wrote it as 0. Line 10 is just other taxes, so it can be left blank. Line 11 is simply addition of line 8, 9 and 10. So just calculate the total of this and enter the value right here. Now let's go to the second page. So 12th line asks you for your schedule F total. So from your notes, enter the value right here. We didn't have any schedule G, so this can be left blank. 14 is simply the addition of lines 12 and 13, which is the same as this. Enter amount from line 11. So line 11, you can just enter this amount and enter it in the line 15. Line 16 says that if line 14 is equal to or more than 15, subtract line 15 from line 14. If smaller, skip to line 23. So line 14 is more than the line 15 for me, so I will simply subtract 30 from 108, which comes out to be 78 for me. If the value on line 15 is more than the value on line 14, you don't need to fill any of these and directly move to the line 23. If you didn't make any donations, you can leave this line blank. The line 18 is simply subtracting line 17 from the line 16, which is again the same value as this. You can leave this portion blank up to the line 20. Line 21 says how much refund you are due, and it is line 18 minus lines 19D and 20. Didn't have any 19D and 20, so your total refund will simply be this value right here. The next line, you just have to add your routing number and your account number and select the type of account that you want your refund in. If line 15 is more than line 14, it means that you are owing some money to the government. There have been some instances where people are owing money to the government, but people have a perception that as a student you are always eligible for a refund. This is not correct. It only depends on how much state tax was withheld when you got your pay. So sometimes companies didn't withhold much taxes for you, which is why you are owing money to the government. But don't worry and just continue with your calculations. If you are owing money to the government, you will fill these boxes as appropriate for you, and this line will just show how much amount is due and how much amount you have to pay to the Indiana state government. And that's it for your tax filing. We filled out all these forms by ourselves. Now it's your duty to print out all these forms, sign wherever required, and send it in the correct order before the deadline. You can see 2 bullet points right here. If you are owing any money to the government, make sure you mail it to this address. If you are eligible for a refund, you will mail it to this address right here. So I know that Indiana state tax has a lot of forms. There are a lot of schedules to fill out, but I would say only watch this video when you are completely focused. So we don't want to miss out on any deductions, or we don't want to make any calculations error on our forms. This might take 30 minutes or 1 hour of your day, but it will be really helpful to know how the Indiana state tax calculations work, and it's good to be informed about how your taxes go, because in the end It's the income that you earned which is going to be taxed. Now it's your duty to print out these forms, sign and date wherever required, and send it to the correct address to the Indiana government. The filing won't be considered complete until you send out the documents, so ensure that you send all the documents in the correct order to the correct address and before the deadline, that is 15th April 2024. Comment down if you have any thoughts. I would love to clarify it if I know them, or else we can sit and try to figure out together. Again, you can contact me anytime at my email. I would love to help you all. Please like and subscribe my channel. It helps me a lot and your support means a lot to me. Again, you all are the reason that I got featured on the Purdue University website, so thank you again for that. Share this video with your friends who want to file their Indiana state tax forms, and let's make sure everyone does it correctly before the deadline. Thank you again for watching this video. Until next time.